Oshkosh Media is government programming on GovTV, community programming on Life TV, and community radio on Oshkosh FM 101.9.
Welcome to the City Manager's Report. The City Manager's Report, a look at city updates and municipal news, and a preview of the next Oshkosh Common Council meeting agenda. Your hosts, Emily Springstrow of Oshkosh Media and City Manager Mark Rohloff.
Hello everyone, and thank you for joining us on GovTV for your City Manager's Report, your source for all of the latest and greatest things happening right here in the city of Oshkosh, as well as a preview of the upcoming Common Council meeting agenda highlights for the meeting coming up next week. I'm your host, Emily Springstrow, joined as always by your City Manager, Mark Rohloff. Mark, thanks so much for joining us today.
Great to be here, Emily.
It's great to have you. And we've got a packed first half and a pretty decent second half with the agenda. So we're going to go ahead and dive right into the hot topics for the first half, take a little break, and then we'll return with the council items for Tuesday, September 24th, 2019. So, Mark, first thing that we want to mention here is the Amtrak and GO Transit celebration that took place last week. This is a very exciting thing that actually not a lot of people might be aware of. So tell us a little bit about the exciting partnership with Amtrak that took place.
What we're really excited about is, even though we don't have direct rail service, Amtrak is now offering Green Bay to Milwaukee bus service that will connect you with the Hiawatha line that goes down to Chicago. And Oshkosh has not one but two of the stops, one downtown at UW Oshkosh and one out at Whitman Field. So regardless of where you live in town, you have two options, and I think the UW Oshkosh location was intended to encourage students to maybe leave their cars at home, and if they want to go down to Milwaukee or even as far as Chicago to visit mom and dad for an event or holidays or things like that, they have a very convenient way to do it.
Yes, and it was a very exciting little event that took place last week. The Department of Transportation Secretary Thompson was here to help us celebrate, and they made a few stops in Fond du Lac, Oshkosh, and Appleton. So we're going to go ahead and just lead into a quick quote from him on how this all works and what it means for the area.
Well, I think we're hearing from our students and a lot of the folks here that they want options and that they're going to take advantage of it. So there's a lot of people that attend Oshkosh here that are from all parts of Wisconsin and even in other states. So I think it connects people from this area that have options. If they don't want to drive, they can get to the airport in Milwaukee, they can get down to Chicago, and even on Amtrak down to St. Louis. We are feeling a lot of energy, and it's from the campuses along the area here in the Fox Valley, and it's also from the businesses. So we think with good ridership, we could even get more service coming through here.
And you can see the brand new buses, the Amtrak buses too, are just fabulous.
Oh yeah, the inside, I don't know if the video is going to even do justice to it because there are some tables there that you can bring your laptop and set it right up there. Lots of ports, there's Wi-Fi on board. Mm-hmm. So all the amenities that you'd want for traveling are going to be there. And the best part is you don't have to drive, and it's just amazing. I've taken the Hiawatha from Milwaukee into Chicago, but this gives you another option to do it. And when they were demonstrating this at the same time, the actual bus providing the service showed up, so we got to see a little bit of how it works. So there you see the tables with cup holders and everything, very convenient and very affordable.
Yes.
To go from, I believe, Green Bay all the way to Chicago is $39 one way. And there's also the cost for just the bus from Green Bay to Milwaukee is $28. So, and there's also discounts, not for any of me just yet, but students, children, vets, and seniors have discounts. So check Amtrak.com, and I think it's going to be something that will offer another option for people. I'm certainly interested in maybe making a little trip to Chicago myself.
It's a great option, yes, and it's like you said, it's another option. And so to be able to continue to make those connections and make those available for people is just a great thing here in Oshkosh, and we're very excited about that. So we were happy to have the Department of Transportation here to celebrate and showcase their new service. Moving down our list, we've got the Emergency Operations Center training. Now, we had some exciting training take place earlier this week. I guess you could call it exciting, but we did a little simulation here in the city on an emergency and how our departments would be responding to that. So tell us a little bit about how that worked, Mark.
Well, it started out with the council recognizing the importance of emergency management, emergency planning. And they put it as a goal in our strategic plan, and all the departments participated in this. It was a morning-long exercise where we didn't know what the emergency was until we walked into the room and we were told what it was. So we all had to figure out, okay, how do we operate in this realm? We've had emergencies before, but a lot of our staff, particularly a lot of departments and a lot of larger upper managers, were not even with the city or in a position of authority when the big floods of 2008 occurred. So a lot of this was new for everybody. I wasn't here in 2008. I saw some of the smaller ones, and I've been involved in smaller EOCs. This one was a simulation that our own wastewater treatment plant had a chlorine leak, which we pray never happens, but we have to be prepared for those emergencies. This is a scene where Battalion Chief Mark Betcher kind of just, took the bull by the horns with a certain point and really demonstrated the importance of staying focused. And I think one of Battalion Chief Betcher's comments was, we're here about life and safety, and really kept our focus and helped us prioritize why we were there. And so I thought it was a great exercise. I think we should be doing it again. I praise the council for their wisdom in recognizing that we just can't take this for granted, and we'll be okay when it happens. It's like you don't know when it's going to happen. Even though this was a chlorine spill, it prepares us for other emergencies. We recognize little weaknesses we have. You were very engaged in it with
Yes.
communications, which is so important in this area because people want to know what's going on. They want some certainty. And so they threw us a lot of curveballs, but I think it was helpful for the process.
Yes, like you said, really getting all the departments comfortable collaborating and working together, and even changing, your hats a little bit too, depending on what department you're a part of. And so working together as a team, great exercise, and we're very excited and happy with how that all went. So thanks for the recap of that, Mark. I guess continuing on the emergency theme that we've got here, the Oshkosh Fire Department recently welcomed 3 new ambulances to their fleet. And so we're very excited about that. And I'm going to lead into a couple quotes just to let the firemen tell us a little bit about what they do.
Every 3 or 4 years we try and replace our ambulances with new units. They take a lot of wear and tear. These new ambulances have some very cool new features. Probably most important is they have a hydraulically actuated, electronically controlled suspension. So what that means is it really, really smooths out the bumps in a very sophisticated way. And why that is important is we transport a lot of patients with injuries like broken bones. And the rougher the ride is, the more painful it is for those people. So having a new suspension system is really important to good patient care.
This is important to us because the back of our ambulance is like our office. It's where we work. It's where we do what we are trained and what we love to do. The biggest thing is probably having this power cot, which is a fully loaded power cot. You can essentially load and unload the patient with one button. You just hold one button down, and it's rated up to a certain weight, and you can put the patient in and out very easily. It saves injuries, it saves stress on our backs, all our muscles and things. So these are the first ambulances we have that have these built right into it.
So a few new features in these ambulances, like Eric mentioned, the power cots and then the suspension system, some great upgrades.
Oh, very much so. The power cots are going to help a lot with back injuries for our employees. And I actually had a resident tell me about a situation where her granddaughter got transported down to Milwaukee. The suspension, these aren't in service yet. The suspension would have been appreciated. It was broken bones, and you want to make sure that that's a more comfortable ride because it's pretty rough going. So we're happy to have these added to our fleet.
Yes, and so as they mentioned, every 3-4 years they're adding to their fleet. And so what happens to the old ones? They're the ones that they...
The whole fleet rotates, so the ones that are frontline vehicles, they become backline vehicles, and then the ones farthest down the line, we sell those off or salvage them because they really don't meet our needs. So, in the past we've donated them to other countries where these vehicles are considered upgrades, but we just rotate them down through the fleet.
Great. Well, we were excited to be able to be out at the fire department to witness the new ambulances coming in, and very, very good news here. Moving down the list in the news, we've heard a lot about the arena lately, and Mark, we wanted to kind of give you an opportunity to comment just on what the city's involvement is at this point and really what our main message is right now.
Well, there's a lot of things going on in terms of, anytime a facility or a building has some financial issues, there are a lot of people trying to, protect their financial interests, and the city is certainly amongst that. The issue for us is making sure that the development, which you have to remember what was there before. The old Buckstaff building was terrible. This is a great building. It's a great facility. We're excited to have it there. And so our goal is to make sure that whoever owns this development now or in the future, that we're able to help them be successful. So that's really our goal. And as you can see from some of the signs there, the arena is still open. There are facilities that go through reorganization, as they call it, under the bankruptcy statutes. But the arena is still open. The herd starts on November 8th. So look forward to the season. If you're a patron of the arena for whatever event it is, continue to do that. It will still be open. There'll still be concessions there. There'll still be T-shirts getting shot out of cannons. All the fun stuff will still go on. I still have my season tickets. I plan to go to all the games. So I encourage people to recognize that this isn't going to impact the daily operations that we as residents have been looking forward to.
It's still such a big part of the Sawdust District and the development that's taken place down there, and so we definitely still want to support the place that the herd plays, and all these other great events are going on there too. So thanks for the update on that, and we'll look forward to future updates as we move forward. We want to give a little update as well on the budget. The process is underway here, Mark, and talk to us about the latest budget workshop, what the focus was on that, and then what the next steps are going to be here.
Our most recent budget workshop was just this past Wednesday, the 18th of September. What we did was we talked about debt management and how that impacts our capital improvement program, because borrowing is a huge part of our capital improvement program, and then also how that impacts utility rates, because utility rates have been rising. A lot of that's reinvesting in our infrastructure, which we are still replacing sewers from the 1800s, so all those types of things. The budget will be delivered to Council on October 8th. They already have the capital improvement program, and we will have 2 all-day budget workshops on Monday and Tuesday, October 28th and 29th. I think everybody at Oshkosh Media will be having them from 8 a.m. to 4:30 p.m., a long day for them. But you'll be able to watch the budget workshops live. They'll be on all day, and if you have insomnia, you can probably queue them up at night.
Yep.
Catch a replay at night.
Yeah, it's a great opportunity to really get plugged into the workshop and hear all of the details, all the discussion. And so it's quite a process, really, the budget process here in the city. And so we're looking forward to hearing all of the changes that take place and all the discussion. So moving down our list, Mark, we've got the county board has recently approved the taxiway for the new terminal at the airport. So tell us a little bit about what this project is. It kind of seems this was talked about when the Aviation Industrial Park was first brought up. So tell us a little bit about the history that led up to this.
Well, this is the final link to connect what was an aviation business park dream, to connect it with the airport and give prospective tenants the ability to access all the amenities of the airport. There's something called a through the fence agreement, in which case the west side of the industrial or business park has access to the airport. They're actually leasing the property from the airport, from the county, so they are actually, as being on the airport, they can go right over and taxi from their building, which may have a hangar, over to the taxiway, to the runway, and take off and be on their merry way. So we're really excited about that. Very appreciative to the county board. Enthusiastically, they voted 34-0 on that. I'm glad they recognize the value of the airport. It's located in Oshkosh, but it is a county airport. It benefits everybody in the county, and the commercial businesses really value that facility, and we're glad that we're going to be able to add this new feature.
Really positive update here for not only City of Oshkosh, but Winnebago County and beyond, all the people and businesses that are going to be involved. So thanks for the background on that. Really quickly, we want to give our residents a quick update on the police department. They've made some changes to their front desk hours and how they're manning their call-ins, walk-ins. So we want to just give a little update on that. They did a study last year, I believe, that it showed their front desk non-emergency calls and walk-ins were very minimal during the hours of 2:30 to 6:30 a.m.
Right. So because of the virtually no traffic, we've placed a phone in the lobby where you can walk right in, as you always could. It just won't be staffed, but the minute you pick it up, it'll be answered by somebody with the county dispatch, and the person may be as close as right in the building. If a supervisor or an officer is in the building, they'll just come right upstairs and take care of you. Otherwise, they'll get dispatched and they'll meet you very promptly. In any case, if you got a cell phone or something, call 911. But if you just need to report something, we don't get a lot of reports at 2:30 in the morning, so that's why we dialed this back. So it gives information, but the door will still be open. People will be able to go in there and access the services. It just won't be a person there, and this will help better allow us to staff during the day for when there is traffic, people wanting police reports for accidents and things like that.
Really making things a little more efficient over in at the police department's lobby there. So hopefully you never have to take advantage of their services between 2:30 and 6:30 a.m. But if you do, we wanted to make you aware of that. So now it's that time of the show where viewers have the opportunity to ask their city manager anything that they would like about things that are happening right here in the City of Oshkosh. It's question mark. So let's go ahead and see what the question is this week. Question is, when will the Little Oshkosh playground replacement be finished?
Short answer, it will be completed sometime into October. So the leaves will still be falling when it's completed, and it's making really good progress. And we wanted to show some of the progress. It's still incomplete, as you can see. A slide is ending midair, so we aren't certainly not going to be doing that. But you can see the progress. This is the one that was voted on by residents, so we're excited that their input was so important to this. And to dispel some myths or rumors and everything, there is a lot of the structure from the entrance to Little Oshkosh, including the brick pavers that people had dedicated something to a loved one, family members, things like that. And the Little Oshkosh archway still exists there. The entrance is still there, and all the pavers are still there. So, when it's completed, you'll still be able to enjoy that part of the past with a new, safe, exciting playground facility for kids to enjoy.
Yes, people are noticing it's going up, and so we're excited to see that. And we also want to remind people of the construction and everything that's going on over at Menominee Park. So if you're driving by, just to continue to be cautious and slow down a little bit.
Yeah, don't speed through the area. I know some people are using it as use Menominee Park as a shortcut because Hazel's out. So please be careful, and remember, it's a park. There are a lot of kids there. We want to be safe.
Definitely. And we'll try to continue to update you on the progress of the new playground as well. I know the Parks Department does a great job of that on social media too. So we'll try and keep you in the loop on how that's all going as it moves forward. So great question from social media this week. If you'd like to send a question to Mark, go ahead and send it to us on Twitter, post it on our Facebook wall, or email it to us, and he'll answer it on the next episode of City Manager's Report. We're going to take a quick break. When we come back, we're going to dive into the Common Council meeting agenda highlights for Tuesday, September 24th. We'll be right back.
My name is Tori Heidemann. I'm the crime analyst at the Oshkosh Police Department. I'm here today to talk to you about our new app called Relay. You can download Relay free on the App Store on your cell phone. And what you can do is report any non-emergency situation or tip to us via the app. You can either just report it as something that you would type, or you can take a picture as well and send that over. It'll go right to our officers' MDC screens, and you'll be in touch with an officer from the Oshkosh Police Department directly, and they will let you know if they follow up on the tip, if they start a call in our computer systems, and where that has went from your tip.
Welcome back to City Manager's Report. Thanks again for joining us. Now it's that time of the show where we're going to go ahead and take a look at some of the highlights of the upcoming Common Council meeting agenda for Tuesday, September 24th, 2019. So, Mark, the first thing that we want to mention here is the Common Council will be meeting prior to the meeting at 5 o'clock p.m. for a fire staffing study workshop. So tell us a little bit about what's going to be discussed here.
Several years ago, the council had set a goal that they wanted to do an analysis of staffing needs for both police and fire. We've completed the police staffing study, and actually some of the recommendations have been implemented. Some staffing has been added in the police department as a result of that. Similarly, we've done a fire staffing study, some really good analysis, and some recommendations that will be coming from the consulting firm that looked into it. Some of the things that I think you're going to hear talked about is use more civilians for things that are not required of fire personnel. Right now, we only have 2 civilians in our whole fire department, so we clearly have some needs that can be met with civilians rather than sworn, which means then the sworn can shift over to other duties. So you're going to hear a lot about that and some of the future needs, and that's what council expected to see. So they're getting what they were asking for.
Excellent. So looking forward to a lot more background on that too during the workshop. Oshkosh Media will be covering that live as well if you're interested in viewing that. 5 p.m., room 404. That'll be on September 24th, 2019. Then we've got a proclamation at the very start of the meeting, and that's for Take Back the Night. And this is an annual event that takes place every year. Tell us a little bit about that, Mark.
Christine Ann Center partners with so many other groups, Reach Counseling and UW Oshkosh, to really increase public awareness of domestic violence. And then it's really it's sort of a rally to say we want to end domestic, interpersonal, and sexual violence. So this is going to be Wednesday, October 2nd over at Beckett's Restaurant. It starts at 5 o'clock, and we're really excited. After about an hour, 45 minutes or so, we're going to have there'll be a march where people can walk the streets and demonstrate their support to ending domestic violence. So we appreciate all of our great nonprofit partners, particularly Reach Counseling, Christine Ann, and then of course our friends at Beckett's Restaurant and UW Oshkosh for recognizing that this is an important issue in our community and showing our support to end domestic violence.
Wonderful, yes. And so October 2nd, I believe it said that was, and we're looking forward to that. Moving down our agenda under consent, we've got the approval of the Employee Health Insurance Agreement. This is with Robin Health Partners and Dental Insurance Agreement with Delta Dental of Wisconsin. Tell us a little bit about what's changing here and what we might be seeing with that change.
Well, we have gone out to get bids on health insurance, and we also evaluate our dental plans. We're going to keep our dental plan the way it is, but it's going to be no increase. So that's great from a budget standpoint. It's even greater news with our health insurance. We're looking at a decrease of about 7.2%. So we're really excited that we were able to competitively bid this out and identify a firm that will continue to provide very good health coverage to our employees, but do it in a much more cost-effective way. Our employees also pay into health insurance, so this will save them a little money too. So it truly is a win-win, and we're very appreciative. We have an employee focus group that looks at this, and they evaluated it, and they gave me their recommendations, and I actually accepted the recommendation. I thought they did great work.
Excellent. So a little bit of change coming our way, but overall very positive changes and things going on with that.
Absolutely. There'll be very little change in the service itself. It's just a different provider, but the health professionals will still pretty much be the same.
Sure. Under new ordinances on the agenda, Mark, we want to talk about the Wisconsin Street and Linwood Avenue being designated as a 4-way stop intersection, and then also the intersection at Wisconsin Street and Viola Avenue as 2-way stop intersections. So tell us a little bit about the background of what's going on and why.
Well, currently there's a 4-way stop at Viola, but ever since the Quick Trip store opened up over there on Jackson Street and Linwood, the traffic pattern and behavior has really changed. So what we're doing is we're switching. We're going to be taking out the 4-way stop at Wisconsin and Viola and moving the 4-way stop up to Wisconsin and Linwood. There's more traffic on Linwood, so it's appropriate to have a 4-way stop there. Similarly, we're going to change it to a 2-way stop, which you'll be able to drive through the intersection without a stop on Wisconsin, both north and south. But at Viola, there'll still be stop signs going there. So with the Quick Trip, as you can see in the upper right-hand corner there, there's more traffic going there, and we just want to be safer, and we feel that's the best way to do it.
So overall, this is really going to kind of ease some traffic buildups and concerns, and give people a little bit more ease of access onto Wisconsin Avenue, you could say.
Yeah, especially for the people, if you're leaving the Quick Trip store heading west, then you know that you're going to be able to get through a little better, because the traffic on Wisconsin will need to stop, and everybody will just have to be courteous to one another and let everybody through the stop signs as appropriate.
Excellent. Right after that, we've got the approval of a closure of Wagoo Avenue and Otter Avenue at the railroad crossing. So Canadian National is going to be doing some improvements at those crossings during some times in October and November.
They're going to be working through the month. I think they're trying to keep both of them when they're both closed at the same time at a minimum. But these are two one-way streets. So Wagoo and Otter will be closed to help make that crossing smoother and whatnot. So you're probably going to see yourself through a good part of October, probably taking CP going east, and then probably going as far north as Washington to go west. But watch social media, pay attention to notices that we'll put up. This is all up to the railroad, so we'll need to keep on them to get the project done in a timely fashion, because anytime you have these crossings, it's inconvenient when they're closed. So, and we recognize that. So, but just look for the signs. I'm sure there'll be some early warning signs, and then there'll be signs when it's closed. And when it's closed, you'll probably be able to take Broad Street going back and forth. But we want to make sure that people are being safe about that.
Right. And the dates that we have right now is roughly starting around October 14th, and then everything being completed by the 1st of November. Like you said, things change. It's completely up to the railroad. And so the city, we're going to do our best to make sure we're communicating that with signage and social media and everything. So appreciate everyone's patience with that one. Under new resolutions, we've got the approval of the Tax Increment District number 38 project plan, and this is relating to the Pioneer redevelopment. So give us a little bit of background on what this item's all about, Mark.
This is still a work in progress. I just want to make sure everybody understands that. But the redevelopment of the Pioneer site is starting to begin. But what we're doing is designating this as a specific tax increment district, so that the value is pretty low now. The buildings that you're seeing here are just file footage. These buildings are down now, and that's a good thing, because they were on some rough times. But the person who has the option on the property is proposing to rehab the marina and proposing to put some recreational amenities on the island itself. So the island is on the northern part of this site, as you see, sort of the top of the screen here, and then towards the bottom is the marina. So they'll be putting improvements in, and the tax dollars that are generated as a result of this will go back into invest in this area. The developer will put money up front and pay for it, and the tax increment will reimburse that person for some of those costs. We still got a lot of work to do, and some of this is quite honestly a work in progress. So I would say stay tuned. We're excited that the redevelopment process is beginning, but I know people are looking for some big splash. Let's just hold off on getting the splash. It'll be a little bit of time.
Not quite yet, but hopefully eventually we'll be hearing some news on this, right, Mark?
This is the right first step to be taken.
Excellent. The last thing that we want to quickly discuss here is under your announcements and statements, and that is the professional services agreement. This is for subsurface exploration and geotechnical engineering evaluation, all relating to the 2020 capital improvement program. So tell us a little bit about it.
We just started talking to council last evening about our 2020 capital improvement program. It's weird saying 2020, but that's what it is. And this is how we get started in the process. We do a lot of advanced work on this. So this is just saying we're going to be doing a lot of things next year, and quietly behind the scenes, this geotechnical work, making sure soils and everything are in good place. But it's just exciting to talk about 2020 capital improvements.
The planning starts now, right?
Absolutely.
So we are just about out of time here on City Manager's Report. So Mark, I'd like to thank you once again for joining us on the show today.
Always a pleasure.
Again, the Common Council meeting is this Tuesday, September 24th at 6 p.m. You can watch it live on GovTV and on our website, or listen to it on Oshkosh FM. Make sure you like Oshkosh Media on Facebook, or follow us on Twitter for community and government programming and updates, or be sure to check out our YouTube channel for replays of all those programs. And as always, don't forget forget, if you have a question for City Manager Mark Rohloff, send it to us on Twitter, post it on our Facebook wall, or go ahead and email it to us, and he'll answer it on the next episode of CMR. So we'd like to thank you once again for joining us here on City Manager's Report, and we'll see you next time.